Welcome to scenic Scotland in the spring, nowhere else quite like it. And we're at Hampden Park in Glasgow. It's week 5 in the NFL Europe League. The Scottish Claymores entertaining the FC Barcelona Dragons. And as we can see, it's a game with plenty of World Bowl implications. Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to Hampden. I'm Nick Halling. Glad you can be with us. And I'm joined today by a man who's played 11 years in the National Football League for 5 different teams. And he's perhaps best remembered as the man who was the MVP of the 1991 New England Patriots. He is, of course, Hugh Millen. Hugh, welcome to Glasgow. Sorry about the weather, but we've got a good one today. Offense versus defense.
Yeah, Barcelona's defense, led by Dwayne Levels, a Cincinnati Bengal, allocation is #1 in NFL Europe in terms of fewest points allowed per game.
But the offense of the Scottish Claymores is pretty good as well, and it's all led by their Green Bay Packers quarterback, Craig Nall.
Yeah, Craig Nall sits atop all major categories in passing in NFL Europe to date. However, most of his success against winless Berlin, much tougher challenge today against Barcelona.
Rob Hart, who is kicking in the bare feet on the squelchy surface at Hampden Park, gets things underway. And it's fielded by Zeke Parker. He takes it in his 11 and dances around tacklers and still looks for a bit more room. And eventually is dragged down at the 27-yard line by Bobby Jackson. So out comes Seth Burford from the San Diego Chargers. He's not done anything spectacular thus far this season, but the key with Burford is he's avoided the big mistake. No interceptions through 4 games. And it's that efficiency that has really helped the Dragons get their 3 wins in succession. They've not pulled up any trees offensively. They just don't turn the ball over. First down at their own 27-yard line. Burford with play action on first down and rolling to his left, and he's got a lot of room in front of him. And then eventually just takes off for 10 yards before Peterson and Isabel come and stop him. But first down for Barcelona. Let's check out the offensive line that has yielded 12 sacks this year. John Fugil, Troy Andrew, Sean Lynch, Shane Grice and Akil Smith from the Redskins. Jeff Cheney gets the start in the backfield. Sean Morey's their go-to guy. Zeke Parker and Kerwin Cook, the 3 wide receiver package. Matt Sircone from Jacksonville is the tight end. First down, FC Barcelona at the 37. And more play action and a lot of time for Burford, and he's going downtown for Sean Morey and got him inside the 10. Morey working Jermaine Chapman, and immediately the danger man for the Dragons steps up big time.
Yeah, and you see the Claymores coming down in what we call a 3 deep, a free safety there in the middle, and we see free safety back in the middle. He's got to come up shallow. When you see Burford, he reads there, the free safety coming up. Then there's Morey for the deep post. That is the free safety's man.
Well, play action on their first 2 plays from scrimmage seemed to catch Scotland guessing defensively. Now they go on the ground with Jeff Cheney, who picks up maybe a yard before he runs into Isaac Keys. But the Dragons knocking on the door early here in Hampden.
Sean Morey getting the start. He's been so effective in the slot, and we see him there.
Up front for Scotland, Riddell Lockhart, Michael Landry, Devontae Peterson and the veteran Chris Ward in the 4-3. Robinson, Isabel and Keys are the linebackers and the secondary. Harper and Chapman on the corners. Jackson and the versatile James Ruths at safety. Second down and 8. Burford drops, has a lot of time. Looks, has a man wide open. In goes Matt Sircone untouched. That was an impressive drive from the Dragons.
Yeah, well, they obviously hit the big play on the post route. Then you see there the Claymores in a zone defense. You've got to put more pressure with 4 when you're going to drop back there. The shallow cross with the tight end coming underneath. That is hard for the defense on that side to see the tight end coming from the other side.
Again, lots of time for Burford. Finds a wide open target as well. Big Matt Sircone, his 3rd catch of the year, his first touchdown, and the veteran former soccer goalkeeper Jesus Angoy will attempt to tack on the extra point. And just like that, the FC Barcelona Dragons have jumped out early.
And as we watch the linebacker here, he's going to drop back. It's hard for him to see the tight end on a shallow cross in his zone. However, this is a play that's been effective for the Dragons. You see here, he comes back, does not see the tight end coming open. In his zone defense, you've got to watch for that player coming over. The linebacker on that side, he's looking at wide receivers on his side, running back on his side, but when a tight end comes from the other side of the formation, not always looking for it.
So 7-0, just like that. Jason Witshack of the Buffalo Bills will kick off. The return men, James Ruths and Maurice Hicks. Scotland have been very effective scoring on their opening possessions, and that's a high kick that just hangs and is almost a fair catch, but a disaster there at the 27-yard line. It looks like the Claymores have just about got away with it, but they hit one of the upbacks, and strange things happen in that situation. So out comes Craig Nall from the Green Bay Packers, who Hugh Millen says has been the most effective quarterback in this league so far.
Well, and he shows his polish. He is playing in an offense, fortunately enough for him. Ken Margin orchestrating this offense, similar to the Packer offense that he's used to.
Jack left, F22, X-Hank, 0-1, ready?
You can hear the play getting sent in there, by the way.
Yes. Let's look down here at the bottom. They're going to try and hit an in route.
Set, red 80. Red 80, hunt.
First down at the 27. And it's dropped by Rod Trafford, the tight end. Dwayne Levels was there, but Trafford just let that one slip through his hands. The offensive line of the Scottish Claymores is big. They're all allocated from the NFL, these guys. David Costa, Brandon Moore, Jason Sukanik, Kenny Sandlin, and Justin Bland. In the backfield, Ken Simonton and the versatile Mike Milan, Edel Shepard, and Scott McCready, the wideouts. Trafford, who just had that drop, is the tight end.
Round 93, hunt.
Second down, Simonton, and Simonton turns the corner and gets pushed out of bounds after a 17-yard gain. Larry Austin coming up from the cornerback position to eventually push him out of bounds, but it looks like they're getting some offense going here, just like the Dragons did.
And we see there Marcus Smith starting at free safety. He's played corner most of the year, but due to the injuries now, he's playing safety. Watch him come up here, 26 taking a bad angle. He's got the contain on that outside run. The Barcelona Dragons like to play a two-deep defense. That is very susceptible to the run.
First down, Nall will throw. That is incomplete, looking for Mike Milan. Let's check out the Barcelona Dragons defense. It is dead last against the pass. Up front, Kevin Deronde and Kevin Aldridge, Jabari Issa and Jason Short, who starts despite injury. A pair of linebackers from Cincinnati, Tito Rodriguez and Dwayne Levels, along with Rashard Harris. And in the secondary, a bit of a shake-up. Antoine Simmons, Marcus Smith, Jason Waters, and Larry Austin. They've had injury problems in the secondary. Second down. Nall with some time. Finds Simonton, and Simonton is hit hard by the appropriately named Dwayne Levels. And we just had one of the officials go down as well. He slid down. That surface is very slick. You and I went down there. Well, I went onto the field. You wouldn't get your shoes wet. I noticed you stayed on the sideline. There's the official who's come up a little bit muddy. It's very treacherous down there.
Yeah, I think I need my trainers. Isn't that what they call it out here?
Trainers, sneakers, yeah.
But I had my smart shoes. But no, what you see there is an example of the swarming speed linebacking group from Barcelona. Not so big, but sure quick to the football.
So a third down coming up early at their own 49-yard line. Minardi was the motion man. Nall has some time, and that one just in and out of the hands. That's incomplete. We do have a flag. Looking for Edel Shepard there. That's a couple of drops on this drive. And we need to check out that flag as well. It goes against the Claymores for a hold.
Yeah, we're going to kind of watch the development here of how they deal in the elements. I think you've got a quarterback in Nall.
Ron Blum is our man.
Holding, 70, offense, penalties declined, fourth down.
You've got a quarterback who's used to dealing with those thunder showers in the summer down in Louisiana. Wide receivers, however, they're going to have to get used to not only wet footballs, but as we progress through this game, muddy footballs as well.
Kevin Stemke is on, and he gets away a high kick. It is fielded by Kerwin Cook, who is down at his own 11-yard line. Hugh Brunel Isabel with the tackle.
The Dragons had to punt on their next possession, so let's pick up the action on the Claymores' following drive.
And here's Ken Simonton trying to do some moving of his own. He'll pick up 4 yards. He's picked up by Jason Short.
I think that presents more of a problem for the Claymores because they would like to get in a situation with offensive coordinator Ken Marjoram where they are giving the game to Craig Nall, allowing him to audible if he sees situations, particularly if there's a safety down in run support. Now you got single coverage on the outside. That's where he wants Craig Nall to take control of this game. That puts a special burden on him with just the 35 seconds.
Ken Marjoram in the center there, the old Chicago Bear, with Reggie McElroy, a 14-year NFL veteran, next to him. Nall throwing on second down, finds Scott McCready. We have a flag. McCready is wrapped instantly by Antoine Simmons, who stepped into the lineup in a banged-up secondary, but let's check out that flag. The last one went against the Claymores for holding, and this one is in exactly the same position. So Ron Blum, the familiar figure, will tell us.
Holding.
There it is.
Number 67, offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Brandon Moore from the New York Jets, the guilty party.
I think we saw with Craig Nall there an indication of the game plan for them coming in. They're going to be facing a two-deep defense from Barcelona.
Right, slot, 98 pitch on three, ready? Three.
So second down and long after the hold.
Red 80, head on!
Oh, and all kinds of stuff going on there before the ball was snapped. Rod Trafford certainly took a very early walk there.
Before the ball is snapped, false start, number 87, deep offense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
And this is a less than impressive beginning offensively for the Scottish Claymores.
Yeah, the Claymores talked about how they thought they could get the hard count going. The problem is sometimes that hard count, you hard count yourself. And so see what they got in the playbook for second and...
There's more stuff going on with Trafford as well. And Trafford is working over Masita Perry, who's very busy, but 2 in a row for the big tight end, who dropped one earlier as well.
69 offense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
Well, they get Justin Bland, the right tackle, who was next to him, so 2 of them jumped. Trafford certainly went as well, but this is a very, very shaky-looking offensive series, to say the least.
Yeah, you see him coming in from Milan. You think maybe they go to the 4 wides out, get Trafford out of there and let him get the count straight.
Red 80!
Well, second and pick a number now, after all those flags. Nall has time, has a wide-open receiver, but only 8 yards doing there for the veteran Scott Cooper, making his 3rd catch of the year. A man that's come back out of retirement, took a year off, said he missed it, and I spoke to him before the game and I said, you glad you came back? He said, oh yeah, there's nothing like this. And these fans love him. He's a real cult hero, a local man made good.
Double left, check,
3rd down and 17.
Right, they're going to try and get corner routes to both the outside receivers, working into the sidelines.
Blue jet 3!
4 wide receivers. This is a long 3rd down. They need to get to the 46. Nall has a lot of time, goes over the middle, and he finds a big catch made right there by Anthony Bright, who they don't use too often, but when they do, he makes big plays for them. His 6th catch of the season.
Yeah, here you see the safety over here with the receiver coming down to the middle. There's a threat that he can go inside or outside. You see the hole in the middle. Just drives you nuts if you're Coach Daniel, defensive coordinator, because you had a linebacker deep there to take that play away.
28 yards from the man from the Texans. Now they can get back to the ground game again with Ken Simonton, who will pick up 6 more. Kevin Durondi with the stop, but I always feel with the Claymores offensively, they go as Simonton goes.
Well, you got 2 backs that are averaging over 5 yards per attempt, but certainly we talk about Craig Nall leading the league. But Simon's number 2 in the league in yards from scrimmage.
He's the workhorse. He's the guy they go to when they really need something. He picked up 6 there. They go to Simonton again, and Simonton works his blockers to the outside. A flag comes in as he's pushed out of bounds. He'll pick up 7, but will it stand up? Ron Blum will tell us. Ron Blum's been around so long, he must have been active when you were playing. He goes against Scotland.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That is saying something.
That's a long time.
Holding, number 87, offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Rod Trafford is having one of those days.
Regular.
Trafford would just as soon forget this one so far. I mean, as we said, we're going to drive them out of this personnel group and go 4 wides.
Between left slot, fake 97 boot.
He's dropped one. He's had a couple of false starts, although only one of them was called. Now he's had a hold. It can only get better. So instead of a first down, second and long once again. They're at the 45-yard line of the Dragons. Play action from Noel. Noel looks for Cooper again, and he can't quite bring it in. Larry Austin was thinking interception, and the net result, an incompletion.
And what you see there is the indication Ken Marjoram really having a lot of faith in Craig Knoll. When you have a bootleg out there, usually you have a fullback or somebody in the flat, a tight end, and then you have a crossing route. To ask the quarterback to throw a corner route deep down the field, that is getting to high-level stuff, Nick, because right, well, there you hear it, the middle screen. Quick! So let's watch Kenny Simonton, number 2 in the league in yards from scrimmage.
They converted the last big third down. There is Simonton. He's got some work to do, but the blockers are there ahead of him, and they've done it again, the Claymores, and Simonton's getting extra yardage inside the 20. Great blocking, great running. First down, Scotland.
What you see there, long yardage situations, Barcelona a little too conservative. Deep drops. Look at the linebackers. Look at the linebackers getting deep. Now that's plenty of grass here. 3 linemen out in front. Simonton does the rest, but you see real deep drops by Barcelona. They have been very reluctant to allow the deep play. That's where the Claymores have to be patient.
First down, Scotland back on the ground. Simonton goes inside the 5, all the way down to the 2 before he's stopped by the French safety man, Samir Hamoudi. But I'll tell you what, if you're Dan Daniel, the defensive coordinator of the Barcelona Dragons, you're a worried man because your team's given up 2 big third downs, and now you're knocking on the door offensively for Scotland.
Yeah, and strong safety James Lewis in a situation. They're trying to get a little cute in terms of disguising their coverages, and they're bringing the safety down late. Watch number 36 come into the picture late. Off to your left here, he's the one on the ground. They have a benefit by disguising the coverage and stemming into it late, is trying to confuse the quarterback.
We have a flag before the ball has been snapped this time.
12 men in the huddle, 5 yards against the offense, still first down.
Well, the Claymores are finding lots of different ways to make it difficult for themselves on this drive.
Well, a lot of firepower, of course, leading the league in terms of offense, but I think sometimes when you have an offense like the Claymores have where there's a lot thrown at them, sometimes they're just a little bit overloaded up top.
Can't win with 5 penalties on the drive, all of them on offense. But they've overcome them so far, and they're going to try and go in with Simonton, who was wrapped up by Dwayne Levels, who's had a very impressive campaign. The man allocated here from the Cincinnati Bengals. Not much doing there for Simonton, just a yard or so.
Yeah.
Huddle up. Hey, get in the huddle. Let's go.
Yeah. Here you see Simonton coming in, and as we said, those linebackers, now they're not going to get so deep down by the end zone.
Second down and goal at the 5-yard line. The second tight end comes in. They'll go back on the ground with Simonton, and once again he is met and hit hard after just a yard. Rashard Harris and James Lewis combining to bring him down. That's going to bring up third down and goal.
Offensive coordinator Ken Marjoram getting a little tricky there. That's an old Statue of Liberty play. Fake the quick throw outside and go with the draw inside.
See right, sprint right option. Hold one,
all right, sprint right option. You're going to see
Jack,
Knoll.
Jack, left, Minority.
Knoll sprinting out here.
Set, red 80.
Somebody will come in motion.
Red 80. Hunt.
And that's your primary receiver.
Knoll with time, looks one way, looks the other, has his man. There's a flag, but it's a touchdown to John Minardi if it stands up. Minardi was the motion man, that's the man Knoll went to, but we've got to check out this flag. And the way flags have been thrown against Scotland offensively on this drive, would you bet on another one here?
Pass interference, number 80, offense.
It goes against Minardi.
Repeat third down.
They call it off.
I think you give kudos to Ken Marjoram there. As we said, they're going to be much more dynamic in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. They're a wide receiver, Ken Minardi in the backfield, get him quick in motion, and now you've got him matched up in a situation coming out of the backfield where he's against linebackers.
But this is incredible.
It's starting to get absurd.
Six flags on this drive, all against the Claymores offense. And they've still got a chance of putting it in. 3rd and goal once again. Knoll feels the pressure, gets up, rolls, has a man, can't find him. Rod Trafford was the intended receiver. In fact, no, it's Anthony Bright, excuse me, was the intended receiver. So they will have to settle for 3 points from Rob Hart, the kicker. That's a disappointing finish to a drive that had a bit of everything.
Well, I think that's going to be one that maybe keep Craig Knoll looking at the ceiling tonight. That's a touchdown pass there. Did a terrific job of distorting the defense with his eyes, looking to the left, came back.
Rob Hart's streak of field goal successes comes to an end. That 31-yarder goes wide. So nothing from that drive for Scotland. It's still the Dragons up by 7.
That was all the scoring in the first quarter. Let's rejoin the action in the second with the Dragons' first possession.
Here's the pitch back, there is the run. Damien Hunter looks like he's just about got enough for the first down. They will move the chains. Bobby Jackson coming up from the safety position, but it's first down, Dragons.
Bobby Jackson really played that well. Kept his outside shoulder in contained, came back in, made the tackle. As we said, a little cat and mouse game going here because you're seeing these defenses.
Damien, go down!
Damien Hunter is limping off the field. Now, this is bad news for the Dragons because they like to platoon their running backs. Hunter shares time with Cheney, and they're both very effective, but he did not look good coming off there, the man from the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, nice to have Cheney there. You're okay if you lose one. Cheney in this weather may be the better player anyway.
First down, Dragons. Burford gives it to Cheney. Cheney dancing around, looking for tough inside yards, and he'll get 4 of them before Ubranal Isabel stops him.
And what you're seeing there, Barcelona putting the tight end to the short side of the field. Usually you want the tight end to the outside. They're seeing how the Claymores want to react. In that situation, the Claymores brought the safety down to the field. So despite the fact that Barcelona are trying to dictate where the safety, Bobby Jackson's going to be, we see the Claymores playing to the field and in a position to stop that run.
So here's Burford looking to convert a 2nd down and 6. And he's got a man. And that's going to be real close to first down yardage. Kerwin Cook working Deborah and Jackson from where they've spotted that. It will be a first down.
Yeah, and you saw the safeties come down there in a help situation. So Deborah and Jackson, the corners, knowing they have no help to the post route. That's the most vulnerable they will be likely to be. So the hitch route is going to be open because the corners can't give up those big plays with the safeties down there. See him guarding the inside shoulder. Corner knows he can't get beat on a post. Good recognition by Seth Burford.
So the Dragons in the red zone. First down. Cheney dances one way, slips, cuts back inside, and a second effort picks up another 4 yards. And this is good, tough inside running by the man from the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, pretty good surge by the Dragons there offensively. I think that what I like there, the Claymores in good gap control. Everybody kind of staying disciplined. However, you'd like to see, I think, however, Ray Werder, defensive coordinator for the Claymores, now down this close to the goal line. You got your good gap control. Nobody's giving up any cutbacks or any bounces. Now converge a little quick.
2nd down and 6. Dragons looking to go in. Burford manages to find a man. Roel Blenman manages to force it out of the hands of Tyree Foreman, the big fullback. And are they going to rule he ever had possession?
Yeah, terrific play by Roel Blenman in the sense that
Going on the field is incomplete pass. 3rd down.
He's the oldest man on the field, Roel Blenman.
well, he played it that way. Look, you see the corner in the picture. However, now watch the safety coming back. He had deep middle of the field, and he's coming down covering a guy in the flat. So that's tremendous range and recognition by a safety.
He's got the body of a 25-year-old as well. He's always the Londoner from North London. He's always threatening to get me in shape as well, but I never quite take him up on it.
Timeout. Barcelona. That's their 2nd.
But the rain has stopped and the sun is out, but it is still slick underfoot. The story of the first half so far. Barcelona in front early. Mats Cohen picking up a touchdown pass from Seth Burford. Scotland had a touchdown called back by penalty. And how costly might that prove to be, because the Dragons are looking for more here. If they can convert this third down inside the 10, and Burford looks, steps up, goes for a first down himself, and where he's marked, where he's been spotted, they'll move the chains. He's a load to bring down when he takes off this big guy.
Yeah, good decision process there. Looking out to his left, the most dangerous part of the field, flat defender covered in man-to-man, elects to pull it down. Gets the first down, as we said, in man-to-man situations. Nobody accounting for the quarterback. So get through that defensive line, through a gap there. Now he's got a first and goal.
So Burford trying to put the Dragons in very good shape. And the big guys are in. Both tight ends. On first down, here's Cheney. Cheney is stopped at the line of scrimmage, and a second effort pushes him a little bit closer. It was a real battle in the trenches there, wasn't it? He had about 16 guys just pushing and shoving.
I've been watching the rugby matches on the telly here. The last couple days looked like a scrum.
Yeah, it did.
For one of them to jump up and kind of tap that ball back, that cute thing they do with the feet.
The irresistible force of the immovable object. Right. Not sure who won that one.
Well, yeah, somewhat conservative call there, first down. Kind of crack the middle of that defensive line, see what they have. And
look at the state of Troy Andrews' back. The left guard looks like he's been pancaked at least once this afternoon. Second down, and the middle of this field really is churning up. Second and goal at the 2. Here's Cheney again, and he's in. Touchdown, Barcelona.
Two tight end formation. Spreading the defense out a little bit wide, still have the 2 wide receivers. Then they're in a position balance-wise where they can go to the weak side of the secondary for the Claymores. Perfectly balanced offense, both tight ends, both receivers, and then they're in a position to either go off tackle left or off tackle right. See the tight ends there on both sides. Forcing Claymores to kind of widen.
So here's a Jesus Angoy looking to make it 14. Timing is everything, and the Dragons time that drive to perfection. And they have taken control of this football game courtesy of Jeff Cheney's 2-yard run. Dean Dahlquist, Scottish Claymores in a little bit of trouble here early in the second quarter in Scotland. Offensively spinning their wheels a little bit in this mud, and defensively not able to come up with a play so far. That last drive of the FC Barcelona Dragons, 78 yards, 13 plays, over 6 minutes, and it was all capped by Jeff Cheney going in from 2 yards out. The man for the Atlanta Falcons with his first touchdown of the season. And here is Jason Witchak kicking to James Ruths and Maurice Hicks. Scotland need to find some kind of spark from somewhere. Can they get it on special teams? It's Ruths that will field at his own 10-yard line and look for a seam and find nothing. 15-yard return. So the Claymores with some work to do.
Well, the #1 offense in the league, as we said, throwing that goose egg up there. There's a lot of questions coming in this game. They had so much success against the winless Berlin Thunder. 96 points in 2 games.
And Noel's numbers today, nothing to write home about. We've seen a lot of flags offensively as well. But you're so right in what you were saying there, Hugh. How good is this offense? Statistically, it's #1. But how much of that is based on what they did twice against the Berlin Thunder, who are pretty toothless? They found Rod Trafford over the middle. And Trafford will pick up 8 yards before he's brought down, so that'll bring up second down and short.
Null going to his second receiver there. He wanted the curl route out to the wide receiver, but he knows going in, if you look off the linebackers toward that curl, this is going to be off tackle either to the left or the right. When he says check with me, he's going to come up, look at the defense, see where the safety is. The safety's to his right, he should go to his left.
Wide left, McCready wide right, Simonton in the backfield. And it's Simonton that will get the carry. And he'll stay on his feet, breaking a tackle and getting first down yardage. He just bounced away from Marcus Smith and Kevin Aldridge, and Kenny Harney combined to push him out of bounds.
Marcus Smith coming from a long way. Very impressive there. As we said, Barcelona playing that too deep. That means the safeties are way back. They have each half of the field in pass. However, not a great defense in run support.
96 counter, 1-2, ready.
To have the safety come that far and force that play, tremendous range. They'll counter right.
Set, red 80!
Off to the right tackle here.
Red 80, hunt, hunt.
And there it goes. Simonton dancing his way for 6 before he's tripped up. Dwayne Levels coming up and making the stop. Levels, one of 2 Cincinnati Bengals linebackers that have been allocated here to Barcelona, but there's an awful lot of Bengals linebackers looking for work when they get back to camp in Cincinnati later on this year.
There's some that would say that some of the Cincinnati Bengals active players ought to be over here, some of the starters.
There's a new era.
Yeah, new era.
New era coming up.
Red 80, hunt.
Second down. Knoll looks to throw, gets his man. Adele Shepard just pulls one out of the air. Jason Waters on the stop, but the man from the Chicago Bears picks up a good first down.
We talk about Barcelona being a 2 deep. In this situation, they change up, go 3 deep. That leaves an unimpeded entry into the secondary by Shepard. He's not going to be jammed by a cornerback, and we saw Craig Knoll looking to his left to influence the underneath portion of the secondary, then come back to the hook route. That is a high-level piece of quarterbacking there.
There are holes in this Dragons secondary. They've been really banged up, lost a couple of key players, a couple of other guys playing hurt as well. Can they exploit it? Simonton looking to exploit some space on the right side, and he'll pick up another 7 yards. James Lewis, who was playing safety, is now playing corner, coming up and making the stop.
And talking about the weakness of this defense, when the 2 safeties are back, we saw the completion, the play before, then Barcelona gets back to their bread and butter, want to put those safeties back, stop the pass, and that
K23, double stick, on one,
and in that situation, Antoine Simmons has got outside contained. He came in a little too flat. Double stick, the slot receivers here to the left. On the bottom, we're going to do a little 3-step drop, quick out routes.
There it is. Knoll, couldn't quite find his man. Scott McCready, that's going to bring up third down, and it's important that the Claymores get some points off this drive.
Well, they need to get some confidence against the good defenses in this league. Ryan, Frankfurt, they really have struggled in both those games. A touchdown or less coming into the 4th quarter, and you see there, it looks like the ball's behind Scott McCready. However, Knoll in his own defense wants to put it in the hole. You don't want, if you're McCready, to go run in. You see there, you don't want to run into number.
Good job.
Simonton plows his way inside. He's the bread and butter guy today. Jabari Issa, the former Arizona Cardinal, on the stop, but Simonton is their most productive weapon offensively so far in this ball game.
Just kind of mashing off tackle, not trying to get wide too often. The times that we've seen him get wide has been on a bounce play where they start the inside and then get outside. That's something you'd expect on the type of conditions we see today.
First down, Scotland. Down by 14. Play action. Knoll just has to get rid of it, and he finds the other tight end, Rashad Kent, who's a real load at 6'6" and 275, and he just ran over tacklers and got extra yardage before Kevin Aldridge brought him down. And one of the unsung guys on this offense, big Rashad Kent.
Yeah, and they did a nice job of getting to him. And Anton Simmons there, watch Anton Simmons. He's got to watch the receiver going up the sideline and then be able to react back out of his own responsibility. He is the flat defender. Good reaction there.
Simmons was left looking upwards at the sky. Simonton on first down is wrapped up from behind by Kevin Aldridge, and won't get a lot, didn't need a lot on second down and short.
Head coach Jack McNeil, architect of that defense, he says, let's just turn them loose, let's play simple. Just play simple, not confuse them. The Claymores, both offensively and defensively, have kind of been, let's listen to this play, but
2 jet, bang, wash out, on one, ready.
They're going to go play action, try and get a post. This is going to be a attempted touchdown here.
On first down, Knoll with a lot of time. There's the swing pass to Simonton. Simonton is met on the far side and wrapped up by Simmons and Austin after just a couple. So that's going to bring up second down along with less than 5 minutes remaining in this first half.
Yeah, and they're back in that 2 deep. Tough to find lanes because the wide receivers are getting jammed at the line of scrimmage.
Let's go.
Then
Jack right slot, 98 pitch on the quick.
The question is just have good patience. Go to the check down.
Reset.
Second down. Simonton gets
Nice.
a block. That is brought down just short. A terrific block up ahead from the fullback Mike Milan. Sprung Simonton for another 3 or 4 before Tito Rodriguez brought him down. That's going to bring up third down and short. And this Mike Milan has won a lot of friends here in Scotland. He's a versatile guy who does a bit of everything. He can run a bit, can catch a bit, and he loves to block.
Oh, yeah, and I think an interesting. They targeted Mike Milan in terms of what they wanted to get offensively. We'll get to that in a moment, but he's a big part of their offense.
Flags all over the place.
Mike Milan as a fullback for Ken Marjoram, offensive coordinator for the Claymores.
Ball start, 63 offense, 5 yards, repeat third down.
James Broyles, the right guard from the Rams, is assessed for that one. They've just gone back to shooting themselves in the foot here, the Claymores. We saw this before on the last drive. They kept trying to overcome it. They had a touchdown call back by penalty, and now they got themselves into the red zone, and there's another little penalty. Will it be as costly as the last one? 7 penalties on the half for Scotland. Play action. Knoll buys himself a lot of time. Looks end zone, and that could have been intercepted. They were looking for Adele Shepherd. Antoine Simmons had a better shot at it. Incomplete.
Yeah, they're trying to get down the middle. As we said, the #1 coverage for the Barcelona is this 2 deep, having safeties back here. They get this bunch formation. They're going to try and get down the middle, but you see the safeties tight in there, know where to go with the ball, and then this is the type of thing that the Packers are watching, the decision-making process. We see in Craig Knoll all the ability, the size, the arm strength. Now when you get in situations like that, you can't give up the field goal and force that ball in there. Fortunate not to get an interception.
Rob Hart will attempt the 36-yarder. The hole and the snap were horrendous, and the kick didn't really stand much of a chance. So Rob Hart misses a second field goal, and neither team was able to score again in the first half, despite this Hail Mary attempt from Kyle McCann of the Dragons. We'll be back with the second half after this break. And a very warm welcome back to Hampden Park. We're just about ready for the start of the second half, but in the locker room a few moments ago, Gene Dahlquist had some strong words for his players.
We're our own worst enemy so far. Just clean it up and then score when we get the chances. We're getting down there, we just have to put it in the end zone to get back in the game, right? Yep. That's what it's about. We knew going in what it was going to be about. They've done a great job in the scoring zone. We didn't the first half. We have to do a great job in the second half. It's up to you guys now. Make it happen.
So Gene Dahlquist spelling it out. They have to make it happen. And by the way, do you like our colour-coordinated jackets?
Yeah, I like it. I just keep this Scottish sunshine off the hairline, all right? And that'll be fun.
It's Scottish sunshine. What's that? Anyway, we've had 2 touchdowns in the first half. They've both gone to the FC Barcelona Dragons. The first one was this one, Matt Sircone, the tight end, untouched with an 8-yard touchdown pass from Burford. That was the very first drive of the ball game. And then it was Cheney going in from 2 yards out. A very impressive drive, that 13 plays, 78 yards. But you heard Gene Dahlquist say it there. We're our worst enemies as we look at the numbers. The numbers are not a disaster from the Scottish point of view, far from it. They've had a turnover, admittedly, but yeah, as you say, penalties, you know, they killed themselves.
They killed themselves, and their problem, oftentimes you saw Trafford jumping off sides. They want to go with a quick count, and there come up, the defense makes a call, and then the offense thinks that's the quarterback sparking out. So I think they're going to get away from the quick counts, go to a more conventional cadence, and try and get away from some of those false start penalties.
That's 17 minutes of possession in the first half. Didn't get a point. That's a worrying statistic.
But, you know, that's playing right into Barcelona's scheme, their game plan, their personnel, because they're going to play loose. You have to be patient if you're Craignahl because they're going to be playing deep. They're going to be playing that 2-deep alignment where it's tough to find holes, and that makes sense for Barcelona to play that because they have a relatively small defense, but they're fast, they can react, so they can keep plays in front of them and then rely on reacting and having the agility, the ability to make the tackles.
It's the Claymores who will get their hands on the football first. Ruths and Hicks are the deep men. Jason Witshack will get things underway for us. And will the second half be any better than the first half from a Claymores perspective? Here's Ruths. Ruths finds a little seam and dances around to the 33-yard line before he is brought down.
Good start.
Yeah, they need something.
Decent field position.
Yeah. So what can Craignahl do from here? Well, they've been averaging 32 points a game, but as you so rightly pointed out, Hugh, 2 of those games came against the Berlin Thunder, who defensively are very weak indeed. You said we would know more about the real Scottish Claymores offense after this game. So far, it's not looking too promising.
Yeah, and now they've got to make it happen, obviously, here in the second half. Again, we see that soft defense should be able to run the ball.
Simonson loses the football and manages to cover it up. Great play, almost made there by Dwayne Levels.
Yeah, we saw Dwayne Levels really in a dominant performance last week. 12 tackles, had the interception, defensive player of the week in NFL Europe, and as we said, allocated by Cincinnati. Primetime playmaker. Talking to Gene Dahlquist, he described this Barcelona defense as a bunch of piranhas. I said, was that a compliment? I said, I wouldn't want to be in a pot full of piranhas, so I guess so.
Absolutely right. Here's Knoll with the drop, and it's picked off straight into the hands of Jason Waters. Interception number 3 on the season.
That's a frustration decision there by Craignahl, just trying to make something happen. He sees the goose egg. You see here the cornerback, Waters. He's got the flat. We saw talk about the 2 deep. That's the 2 deep. The safeties are back there. The corner's going to be looking in. He is the flat defender. That's the most athletic defender on the field. In a flat, he's going to turn the receiver to the inside, and then he's just looking at the quarterback. That's not where you want to be going against that defense.
A bunch of piranhas. Gene Dahlquist pulled it. The Dragons' defense just showed their teeth once more. And it means that Barcelona take over in excellent field position. And it's a catch made by Kerwin Cook for 12 yards. Jermaine Chapman on the stop. Seth Burford back in the ballgame as we expected him to be. But a chance here for Jack McNell to really twist the knife.
Yeah, it's certainly, and you see there, intermediate throw. That's behind the underneath zone and in front of the deep layer. The zone closest to the line of scrimmage has got to get deeper here. That's just too big of a hole. They've got to get deeper the way Barcelona plays their defense and then react in front of them.
Zeke Parker wide left, Sean Morey wide right. They'll stay on the ground with Cheney. And Cheney finds good positive yardage once again. 9 yards before Darnell Robinson makes the stop. And we've seen this in the second half of previous Claymores games. They start to wear down up front.
Well, they're a little bit light up front. And we see there, by design, the Claymores should be in a good situation. They got their safety down in there and run support.
Nothing much doing for Jeff Cheney so far statistically. Right. It'll be interesting to see how that number will go up over the course of this second half. A lot of running backs in this league have had big numbers against the Claymores on the ground. Here's Cheney again. And a flag comes in, but Cheney just plowing his way for another 7 yards. Devontae Peterson on the stop. So forget the flag, that's a 9-yard carry and a 7-yard carry back to back.
And I think, Nick, from time to time, we see defenses that start to lose confidence in their offense. They see a 14-0 score. I think right now the challenge for the Claymores is they've got to kind of cowboy up, to coin a phrase coming from Jack.
Devontae Peterson, the man who made that tackle, is assessed for a face mask as well. So it's tough to know how it can get much worse for the Claymores at the moment.
Well, you see the Claymores just standing straight up. I mean, they have really, body posture-wise, both during the play and then after the play, you see a defense, I think, that needs to get a little more vinegar in it.
After the penalty, it is first and goal at the 9 for Seth Burford and the FC Barcelona Dragons. Here's Cheney. Another flag comes in. Cheney is wrapped up for a loss by Darnell Robinson, and that flag is going to be against the Dragons.
Yeah, Darnell Robinson, good recognition. He played that inside out.
He's had a good season, Robinson, the man allocated here by nobody at all.
Holding, 71 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Robinson was in camp with the Lions a couple of years ago, went north of the border, didn't even make the Saskatchewan team, but the way he's played here in Scotland, you would think one or two people might be taking a look at him in camps later this summer.
Well, you saw the reaction there. He's at the inside out. Easy to give up the cutback, but good technique on his pursuit.
So first down and goal at the 19. Burford is wrapped up from behind. A whole bunch of guys were there. TJ Bingham, Liddell Lockhart. They may have to share that sack between them.
Yeah, looking for Kerwin Cook on a crossing route. What happens when you get down into this plus 20, this red zone area, the safeties don't get quite as deep. And as a quarterback, you're in that pocket and you're kind of second guessing yourself because you're not seeing that natural deepening of the deep layer of the zone. In that situation, safety's corners playing a little tighter cause a little bit of indecision by Burford.
Just as we said, Scotland again pushed around defensively. They're making a bit of a stand here. Second and goal from the 23. There's a little dump off pass to Cheney. Cheney doesn't get past Ubernard Isabel. Will get only a yard. That's going to bring up third and forever.
Kind of a textbook reaction to having a sack. You want to slow down the defense, run a draw, run a screen, get those defensive linemen thinking about things other than getting after the quarterback, maybe thinking about their pursuit. They've got responsibilities and screens, so a rather predictable play after a sack.
Jack McNell's got some decisions here because this is no good field to kick off. As we've already seen, Rob Hart's missed a couple. They may want to think end zone here on third down and goal from the 22. Burford does just that, goes over the middle, can't find his intended receiver, Sean Morey, and flags come in late after the play. More than one of them as well. The man shaking his head is Chris Ward, the veteran defensive end for the Claymores. Well, Ron Blum will have to sort this one out for us.
Well,
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99, defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, of all people, Chris Ward, the veteran, the man they call the coach on the field, he's the man that keeps that drive alive, and he doesn't need anyone to tell him that he didn't need to be doing that.
yeah, unthinkable mistake here when you consider that, as you said, in these conditions, lining up for a field goal, you finally got the stop you were looking for on a third down. You just can't give up first downs after you've already won the play. Your defense is drinking Gatorade on the bench, and now they got to come back out and face a situation inside the 11-yard line.
Timeout, Scotland. That's their first charge, timeout.
The Claymores need to think this one over, and they need to find the right defensive scheme as well. It's been one of those days, if you're a Scottish Claymores fan, that you want to sort of huddle up, take some shelter anywhere you can. They ought to be playing the Rolling Stones, giving shelter right now, because these Claymores, offensively, defensively, they're second best here this afternoon so far.
Well, they're going to need some comforting if they don't get something going here. Obviously now, the penalty gives Barcelona that first down inside just about the 10-yard line.
Yes, this is big. First down is Cheney looking to really punish him. They've strung him out. He will gain nothing, might even lose a yard. Stops at the 10-yard line. Isaac Keys, the outside linebacker, Packers, will be credited with the stop.
And Jermaine Petty doing a nice job stringing that out. What you see there is there's a tendency sometimes to overflow on outside play, and then you give up the cutback. Saw nice patience there defensively in terms of making sure that there wasn't a cutback. Kind of slowing down, working from the inside out. You've got to stop running backs from the inside out.
So second down and goal. This one's blown dead before it starts. You do get the feeling, Hugh, even this early in this second half, that we are at a pivotal moment in the ball game. If Scotland can hold firm here, they've got a chance. If Barcelona jump out by 21, it's tough to see the Claymores coming back.
Yeah, and I start to see body language. You just watch the sidelines. Oftentimes, if you see players pacing back and forth on the sideline, that means the team's up. When guys are just standing in one position, they're kind of losing some of their oomph here, and certainly they can't afford to lose anymore.
The amazing thing is, statistically, there's nothing between them as the catch is made. But the statistics don't always tell the whole story as Sean Morey picks up another 4, because you've got to look at those turnovers, missed field goals. And turnovers have really been the story for FC Barcelona this year. They just don't make them, and they capitalise on opponents that do make them.
Yeah, and you look at Barcelona defensively, they're not at the top of the league in terms of yards yielded. They are at the top of the league in terms of points yielded, and because they only give up 2 touchdowns all year out of the red zone.
3rd down. Burford flushed out. He'll go for it himself, gets a block, and then is chopped down by Bobby Jackson at the 2-yard line. A touchdown-saving tackle for the man from the Green Bay Packers.
Now, a little bit of decision. Doesn't look like much of a decision.
No, it doesn't. It's Jesus Angoy, the old soccer goalkeeper, is coming out.
In years past, we used to see man-to-man down along the goal line in terms of coverages. A few years back, you started to see zones. Obviously, the zone's much more condensed down inside the goal line. Just nothing open against that zone defense for Claymores.
21-yard field goal for the veteran. Well, whatever kicking problems the Scottish Claymores may be having are not shared by Jesus Angoy. You can find out about everything that's going on in the league by getting online with NFLEurope.com. Stats, news, features, information, everything you wanted to know about Hugh Millen's previous NFL career. It's all there. That don't take much reading, does it?
You got me there. You have to do some digging on that website. Just a little top corner of the screen.
You were around a long time. Don't sell yourself too short. Here's Whitsack. There's the kick. It's going to be Hicks that takes it. That's the 7. Hicks
and you see Sean Morey, number 82, the wide receiver coming down, busting up. And I think that Sean Morey's the type of guy that when you're talking about NFL Europe, these are the kind of guys, the success stories you really root for, because he's a wide receiver. We saw some of the big plays that he's made. He comes into the game leading the NFL Europe in touchdown catches, making plays on special teams. He knows that special teams is going to be his position. An allocation by Philadelphia and a great opportunity for him to get exposed.
And here's an opportunity for Craig Nall, another opportunity, and that one was a very poorly thrown ball in the direction of Michael Lamb, uncatchable as coming off an interception and not making a very sound start to the second half here, the man for the Packers.
Yeah, and I think on film, the NFL teams are going to see this situation. They don't necessarily see the conditions and the wet ball, the mud, and you see signs there. When a quarterback such as Nall leading the league makes a throw like that, you start to wonder whether the ball's wet or muddy. Running to the left here.
On 2nd down. There it is. Hicks getting a rare carry in this ball game. He'll only get maybe a yard before Kevin Durombi of the Dallas Cowboys stops the man from the Chicago Bears, and that's 3rd and long.
And defensive coordinator Dan Daniel now for Barcelona really having his way where he can drop the safeties back deep for pass prevention, but he's got linebackers that can make the play, get off blocks, and stop the run such as that. Let's look for Anthony Bright coming on the inside, at the top of your screen, 12-yard and in.
3rd down, over the middle. It's caught and complete to Rod Trafford, who picks up 10 yards, 1st down. Marcus Smith on the stop.
Yeah, Craig Nall there showing signs of coaching. Talked about Z Hank, the primary receiver, as I said, was Bright coming in. But they talked this week, hey, the tight end is going to be open over the middle. In that zone, certainly was there. But he probably had Bright as well. Again,
as long as he gets somebody. Now, here they go inside. And it's Hicks all the way to the 40. I mean, that's the key really for Scotland, isn't it? They've just got to make some plays now, as long as they're getting something going. because they're at a point now they really do need to put some points on the board if they're going to make this competitive.
Well, draws and screens ought to be effective. Now, having a 17-point deficit, you would think that, trying to listen to that play call, you would think that Barcelona's naturally going to be expecting the pass and the draw.
Milan's in motion. They haven't got him involved as much as they would like, and that was a dangerously thrown ball. Antoine Simmons read that all the way. A flag comes in. They were looking for Milan. That ball just hung up in the air.
Yeah, and you've got to have a recognition of coverage. Certainly, you know that Antoine Simmons, as the flat defender, is going to be in a position to the wide side of the field.
He's going to go against the Dragons.
Number 24, defense.
Simmons.
That's a first down at the spot of the foul.
Catch a little break. You see here Simmons in the flat. He's looking into the play. He's just going to react in his zone in a perfect position to stop that play. So I think obviously the Claymores going to have a break there.
The official was well placed. Threw the flag instantly. Here is Milan. Milan will just get a couple, but no more than that. And the questions that are going to be asked of Mike Milan is not does he have the talent, does he have the size? Because you know how these NFL guys are. You've got to be this big, you've got to run the 40 in that speed. You know, does he have the size to make it as an NFL fullback?
Well, 5'10", that's the question that the NFL is going to be asking. I can tell you this, that they're thrilled with the production, what they've done, and how they targeted him.
We go back to the Patriots. He's done well here, Milan. Checks out on second down and long. And all looks one way, then the other, and that was a disastrous ball that was almost picked off again by Antoine Simmons. They were looking for Steve Hutchinson. Simmons knows he should have had a piece of that.
In practice mode, yeah, drop an interception. One that could have really iced this game at 24-0. And you look at, we talked about the last play, Simmons out there in the flat.
No conviction in that throw.
Now you're going to see Anthony Bright coming down underneath the pattern. Instead of challenging that flat, he's going to shallow cross by Anthony Bright here underneath the coverage.
3rd and 8. Incomplete, looking for Bright. Kenny Hardy draped all over him, and another ball that just sails nowhere in particular, and the punting unit on for Scotland.
Yeah, well, you're seeing a quarterback that came into this game leading the league in yards, leading in touchdowns, leading in quarterback rating. Thoroughly frustrated, obviously, and you're seeing now signs here where perhaps losing confidence, not looking down the field here in a 3rd down situation.
They almost blocked the punt from Kevin Stemke, and he had to get it off rather more quickly than he would have liked. They certainly came up that Tito Rodriguez was just a fingertip away from a block there.
The Dragons had to punt on their next possession, so let's pick up the action on the Claymores' following drive.
Gene Dahlquist knows his guys have got to put something on the board here. Now, Knoll was really looking a bit down on himself. That last series, Simonton gets punished with a big hit, and they're starting to pin their ears back now a bit, Barcelona. But Knoll needs to regroup here. I'm sure you've been in this situation yourself. You make a mistake, you have a bad drive, you get down on yourself, but you can't stay there, can you?
Right. No, because you're going to be the leader of the team, and everybody senses your body language, and so you've got to be a competitor. He's got to realize, you know, a touchdown gets them into this. These type of conditions, you know, turnovers, returns, there's still a chance they make a play.
This is a game that has just one bit of spark from somewhere to change everything. Knoll is looking, he's got a bit of space, and he'll be just short of first down. The other Rashard Harris was coming up, but Knoll just slid underneath him. So what is Gene Dahlquist going to do on 3rd and short?
Well, you see some of the adjustments.
Number 24, defense.
You see some of the adjustments that Barcelona's making. Here you saw Antoine Simmons. Well, 92 ISO, that's going to be just off the right guard. And keep your eye on the fullback, Mike Milan. He's going to have a big block here.
On 3rd down, Simonton bounces out from right tackle and picks up another 10 yards. Harris and Smith on the stop, but Simonton, the workhorse, certainly hasn't put this one in the tank yet.
Every running play is at a point of attack. You can either keep it at the point of attack, cut back, or bounce it. In this case, Mike Milan leads up, but you see Simonton, box of coat hangers stuck up inside there, bounce it outside, nice move on a third down.
Just going back to the stats we saw earlier, there's so little between these two teams offensively in terms of their output. It's their effectiveness in the red zone that's been the big difference. Just Simonton looks to try and get something going here and he's in trouble. You run into Kevin Deronde and you're in trouble. The big guy from the Dallas Cowboys won that battle.
Yeah, one of the many players for Barcelona that maybe not the prototypical NFL size, but has shown the quickness, and visited with him yesterday. Delightful guy.
Yeah, he's a bit of built like a tight end, really, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's been enjoying the sunshine. He came in with a nice suntan.
I noticed you didn't have one. You've been in Scotland all week. Second down. Goal finds Milan. Milan is called down immediately by Rashard Harris, and that's going to bring up third down and short.
Our suntan's from Seattle, I imagine, like Scotland, or kind of just rust.
Yeah.
Eventually seeping in. Mike Milan, as we talked about earlier in the game, a guy that all right, now here's you're going to see a short drop here by Null. And the receivers here in the slot, the two guys out to his left, are going to take quick out routes.
Third down. There you go. He's got a man wide open.
Well, here Null getting to his third receiver to his left. He had a primary receiver on a short out route, and then another receiver on a short out route. His third receiver is a check down over the middle. Seeing a lot of signs of his just concerned about going down the field.
Some positive things happening here for Scotland. So that's the end of the third quarter. We've got 15 minutes left here in Glasgow. Welcome back to Scotland. It's week 5 in the NFL Europe League. The Scottish Claymores trailing here by 17 at home to Barcelona. Also trailing are the Amsterdam Admirals, getting hammered in Berlin. There was a game yesterday, of course, the Rhine Fire beating Frankfurt 14-7. There was a scenario where we could have had 5 teams locked up at 3 and 2 at the halfway point, but it looks like Amsterdam and Scotland at the moment are going to drop to 2 and 3, and it looks like the Thunder are going to get their first win of the season. So congratulations there to Peter Baas and his team, the defending champions, coming out of the blocks with 4 straight losses. Now, can Scotland get themselves back into this thing? Simonton picks up just 3 more yards, and it's getting tough to see who's making the tackles out there. That was Tito Rodriguez, the other Cincinnati Bengals linebacker, but numbers getting obscured by the mud down there. It is a mess.
Well, and you've seen that now Ken Marjoram, offensive coordinator, a really talented coordinator, should get his opportunity at the next level, but they have now pulled things back. I think you clearly see the frustration in Null.
Green 93! Green 93! Hut!
Second down, Simonton again, looking to work his way inside, and he gets all the way to the 20-yard line. Tito Rodriguez, the Bengal, once again. I wouldn't want to be the guy that has to clean Tito Rodriguez's shirt at the end of this one. It's and we've got a flag coming in late there now. Now, what's that all about? That was way after the play.
Well, that's a lot of what we've seen. We've seen late hits. We've seen them at the beginning of plays, at false starts, and late hits at the end.
I was looking at Tito's shirt, so I have no idea what was going on there.
Well, I was away from the play. Obviously, a running play wide to the right.
Well, the indication is against Scotland, and here is Ron Blum to explain it.
Sportsmanlike conduct, number 86, offense. After the play was over, there'll be 15-yard penalty and third down.
Idell Shepherd from the Chicago Bears, and doesn't that sum up the afternoon for the Scottish Claymores?
Well, you know, it's fine if you're playing golf and tennis to play for yourself, but you know, at this point here, obviously, with a quarter to go, this is an offense that has been able to catch fire. 4 touchdowns in 1 quarter in the opener. I mean, it doesn't look good now, but I think if you're Ken Marjoram, you say, hey, we still got a chance to win this game. You can't have that.
You can't have it. You cannot have it. Remember, the Claymores had 6 points taken off by penalty as well. So it's third down and an awful long way. They've got big Rashad Kent, who is tripped up by Antoine Simmons. Rashad Kent's an interesting story. Talk about size. This guy's 6'6" and 275, but he never played even at college. He was a basketball guy. And the Texans are looking to see if he can convert to football. You look at the things you can measure. He's got everything you look for in a tight end.
Yeah, they're thrilled with his skill level. Obviously, he just got to get in a feeling for playing, and particularly against zone defenses, Nick, because that's the area where you really have to have a feel, and the experience does pay off.
Well, they're going for it on 4th down, 4th and 12 as they have to. Knoll feels the pressure. Kevin Durand, and the flag comes in. Kevin Durand was draped all over Craig Knoll as he got rid of it there, and the flag came in.
Yeah, he had me back.
I'm talking about Tito Rodriguez, middle linebacker. You see a scheme there where Barcelona has their middle linebacker, even by alignment, before the snap, dropped well deep, taking away anything down the middle of the field.
Oh, now this one goes against Barcelona.
Personal foul, grabbing and twisting a face mask. Number 75, defense, 15 yards. It's an automatic first down.
Well, there is no 75, so Ron Blum, I think, and his crew getting confused by the mud there. I think they probably mean 77 or 72, Jabari Issa. Either way, that is every bit. 77 was Durande. So that's every bit as expensive as the earlier one from Adele Shepard. So those two things balance each other out. We've got a first down again.
And we'll see how it materializes.
Oh, yeah. Definite contact. Simonton on first down runs into a bunch of trouble. Toby Golladay, the veteran, with the stop.
A little experience with Coach Dahlquist as well. I know that they felt that they could exploit him in a couple areas. I know you always want to do good against your enemies and against your old friends. So, well, Toby Golladay.
He was in camp with Scotland last year and they released him. So talk about a guy on a mission.
Yeah, he was one of the guys they thought they could get on the quick count. He was quick there.
Yeah. And it counted against Scotland. 2nd down and 10. Play action. Knoll cannot find a receiver. The pressure was coming from Masida Perry, and they couldn't find Rod Trafford. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10.
It looked like they wanted a throwback there to Rashad Kent as well, off to the left, kind of fake that bootleg to the right, get a little razzle-dazzle and throw back. But as we said, Barcelona in a relatively soft zone, just kind of laying back there and then allowing their athleticism to react to the football, all looking at the quarterback in a good position there to sniff out Rashad Kent.
3rd down. Knoll with time now, feels the pressure. And he has a man, it's Simonton, who's been the go-to guy all day for Scotland. They're 3 yards short, and they're at the 10-yard line. What's the betting they go for this one? Tito Rodriguez, who's having quite a busy second half here with the stop.
I don't think he can help but to go for this now.
Got to, surely.
Yeah.
No, but they're sending out Rob Hart.
You want to make it a 2-score game, I suppose, but in that case, you saw Craig Knoll getting to his 4th receiver, hung up on the strong side, might have had Mike Milan early on the angle over the middle, but credit the offensive line for allowing him to get to his 4th receiver in his progression.
But given the problems the barefooted kicker has had on this sodden surface, and the problems continue, and the gamble has failed, and that really is a mystifying decision, because Hart has had one of those days.
The ball was spotted at the 20-yard line. First down, Barcelona.
The sun is back out in Scotland. Stick around long enough in Glasgow, you'll get a bit of everything, but you've got to second-guess Gene Dahlquist, and it's easy to be an expert up here. But with your team having problems and needing something, why wouldn't you go for the 4th down? Why would you send out a kicker that's already had some problems on a sodden field? And I think sure enough, Rob Hart missed again.
I think the one thing he may be thinking is get those first points on the board. Make it a 2-score game.
Well, if it had come off, of course, nobody would have been saying anything. As it is, though, the questions will be asked. And here's Jeff Cheney picking up 5 yards with Robbie Robinson draped all over him. But it is easy to be up here and be the expert, isn't it? But surely it was worth really going for it. You're down by 17, you're in the 4th quarter. At one point, you've got to roll the dice.
I think you'd have to wonder, had it been 20-3, which obviously would be the same score differential, but then in that situation, Scotland would have had their first points on the board. I think oftentimes coaches really say, we got to get that goose egg off just to get our morale going.
Cheney again, won't get much.
Yeah, and I think that Barcelona's going to be perfectly content now to just run this clock out, try and pick up some first downs, but if not, just turn the ball.
Well, this is where Jack Bicknell comes into his own, and here he is. I mean, Jack Bicknell, give him a lead, give him the clock, he will lock it up. He's been here so many times, the guy that's been here since 1991, and he's got this game exactly where he wants it, but he also has been around this league long enough to know strange things happen, and with 10 minutes left, this game is still not over. Burford feels some heat, flags coming everywhere. Burford rolls out, gets a wide open Jeff Cheney. It will be big first down yardage, 25 yards if it stands up.
It doesn't look like it. The hold.
And there it is. It's not standing up, but Burford.
Number 69, offense, 10 yards, repeat third down.
You know, and in talking about Coach Bicknell, most experienced coach in NFL Europe. It's
D in, 4, D reverse.
Well,
Right,
yeah.
D in, 4, D reverse.
Now they're going to fake a run to the right side, off tackle to the right, and then they're going to have a reverse. So just as we're talking about them getting kind of conservative, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, reverse coming up here.
Yeah, see if
Fake
you
to
can,
Jeff Cheney to the right.
see if you can catch him.
Watch the defenders on the bottom of the screen, see if they stay home, the right end. Here comes that reverse,
There it
did not
is.
stay home.
Goes into the box of tricks.
At the corner.
Flags coming in once again as Zeke Parker looks for the first down and is brought up well short by Bobby Jackson, but let's check out those flags once again. A suggestion of a face mask here, perhaps. So all the players pleading their case down there. Ron Blum is listening to nobody but his associates.
Holding, number 82, offense, that penalty is declined. It's fourth down.
Sean Morey, the guilty man, and they turn it down, so the punting unit will come out once again for Barcelona.
Sean Morey's been kind of quiet after that first quarter.
Yeah.
The long post route.
But everybody's been quite quiet today
Yeah.
offensively. The Dragons have done just enough, and then they've locked it up. And of course, Scotland, they're moving down the field, and then they're getting into the red zone, and they're just self-destructing. Scotland in the red zone today, I'd love to see the stats. It's been nothing short of lamentable.
Well, they came into the game a respectable, hovering around 60%. Had the most opportunities of any team in NFL Europe, so didn't have the percentage that Barcelona had coming into the game.
Another great punt from Murphy. Backs up Simonton. But there's a chance of a return. Simonton runs into trouble, but will still get it to the 37-yard line. There is Hugh Green, 11 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Miami Dolphins. You talk about great defensive players of yesteryear with Tampa Bay, and obviously Leroy Selman jumps out, but Hugh Green is right behind it.
A long time.
Yeah, and it's just tipped away there by Rashard Harris. We've got flags everywhere.
Talk about the linebackers getting deep, really preventing that play down the middle, that post route against the two deep.
I'll tell you what, James Lewis's reaction to those flags was the old wasn't me routine.
Yeah, the middle of the field just looks so inviting for the quarterback based on the safety alignment. They're wide, and you see that nice big bagel, as we used to say, the donut in the middle of the field. But the linebacker's getting so deep, and so the quarterback's got to hold the ball and allow the receiver to get downfield into that area.
Unnecessary roughness, number 36 defense, launched himself into a defenseless receiver, 15 yards from the previous spot. It's an automatic first down.
Wow.
Rashard Harris getting real deep on that. Thought he should have had a chance for an interception.
James Lewis was indeed the guilty man. So the Claymores got a break.
Yeah, it's tough to hold the ball down there. Anything beyond about 20, 22 yards, the safety's going to be able to react to it.
They said Blues at 3.
So first down in Barcelona territory.
Blues at 3.
Noel gets Simonton. Simonton just spins away from Rashard Harris, and he could go. He's pushed out inside the 10 by Larry Austin. What a turn of pace from Ken Simonton with his 7th catch of the ball game. And the Claymores come alive at last.
Yeah, and you're looking to get to the wide receiver out to the left. on an in route. That brings the defense. Watch up here. He's going to be following the inside route. That leaves Simonton all alone in the flat. You watch the defense roll to the strong side, and when the wide receiver comes out, look at all that grass. That's just too much for Rashad Harris.
Here's Noel, he's got a man wide open. Scott Cooper, the local hero, goes in. Touchdown, Scotland.
They've been faking the inside drag routes all day. Now they shake back out. Scott Cooper, one of the feel-good stories of NFL Europe, a local fella that kind of a possession receiver and knows he's not going to be in the NFL.
But I'll tell you, with 8 minutes left, we could have a ball game here yet. They've been looking for that spark for so long. Rob Hart's got to make sure of this extra point. Forget those missed field goals. And he does, and we've got a 10-point ball game. So, things may be changing here at Hampden. The Scottish Claymores coming alive.
The Dragons had to punt on their next possession, so let's pick up the action on the Claymores' following drive.
The rain is lashing down again. You can't really see it on this picture, but believe me, it is. It's a very damp field here at Hampden. Noel just finds his outlet receiver. It's the man who's going to be putting in for overtime today, Ken Simonton. He's now become the team's leading receiver on the year, as well as running back.
They had a play designed to try and get down the middle of the field there, but what we've seen from Barcelona is really deep drops. Try and make the play in front of it.
Second down and short. Noel has a wide open John Minardi, and Minardi goes out of bounds under the tackle of Larry Austin, but they will pick up 7 yards, stop the clock, and get a first down.
And those corners have been in a situation earlier in the game where they were really jumping the flat routes. Now, given the 2-minute type situation, you see that corner in the flat. Circle post. Both wide receivers are going to be trying running corner routes deep to the sideline, but the post part of that circle post is let's look for a slot receiver on either side, one of the inside receivers trying to get down the middle. Barcelona does have their 2 safety split, but again, Rodriguez, the middle linebacker.
And he's got Maurice Hicks, who will pick up 9 yards before Levels and Simmons combine to stop him. Stays in bounds, though, and we're now inside 4 minutes, and the clock is running.
Defensive coordinator Dan Daniel, as we said, with the middle linebacker, Rodriguez lined up deep. By alignment, he looks like a free safety.
I'll tell you the conditions here, Hugh, that you can see that the rain swirling around. It's windy and wet here in Hampden. It's far from ideal conditions now. It's been slick and horrible, and that ball must weigh half a ton down there.
Well, you've got really 3 things: a wet ball, a muddy ball, and a heavy ball. You don't have quite the allotment that you would have in the NFL in terms of the supply of balls getting in, and so by the end of the game, it sure is heavy.
Third down. Here's Hicks. Hicks picks up first down yardage on a lot more and showing some fresh legs there. Hamoudi and Smith eventually stopping the man from the Chicago Bears. And they're in the hurry-up, and the ball is spiked. 3:17 left on the game clock.
I think it's a little early to get into spike situations. Those downs are precious. We've seen the struggles they've had offensively. I think with 3:17, you now come up and you got to have a play ready to go. Not necessarily huddle up, but you've got to have a play that you can communicate to your receivers. You're playing at home. You're not going to expect any difficulty in communication. I don't like the idea of losing a first down play merely to spike it with that much time left.
4 wide receivers in on second down and 10. Noel with a lot of time, looks end zone, and he's overthrown the intended receiver, which was Edel Shepherd. Samir Moody had the coverage anyway, so that's 3rd and 10. We've got a flag down on the field as well.
Personal foul, number 97, defense, a headbutt after the play was over.
And there is Toby Golladay, who's made a play on the last defensive stand and has just done the bonehead play there, and Jack McNell is letting him know.
Yeah, both teams really failing to exercise the discretion that you need to, certainly in their circumstance. But
I just thought we were going to hear from Jack McNell there as he was really dressing down Golladay. It's probably just as well that we don't, but I think you alluded to this earlier. You can't be selfish in this game. You can't freelance and just do things like that. I mean, if Scotland were going to score here, it's going to make it a very nerve-jangling finish. They don't need to give them another 15 yards like that. First down, there's all kinds of movement. Flags come in, and they're blowing it dead anyway. There was certainly movement on the defensive line. The Dragons will argue they were drawn. Ron Blum will tell us.
Well, Craig Knoll even late in the game.
Number 72 defense.
That's Jabari Issa, the former Cardinal.
Working the hard count. You see Knoll, that's a little poised. A lot of times young quarterbacks in the two-minute situation are not really thinking about using hard count, but good poise not only by the quarterback in terms of being aware that that can work for him, but also the rest of the offense holding their anchor. 20
yards of penalty on the last 2 plays. So that changes the perspective a little bit. Instead of the receivers coming in, a couple checked out, and it's Trafford, the tight end of Milan, the fullback that check in on first down. They find Hicks. Hicks is met and stopped by Simmons instantly, who snuffed that one out. Just a couple of yards, but it's still second down for the Claymores. The clock is what they have to think about now.
Yeah, Edil Shepard has got to get a little more aggressive in blocking Simmons there. He's got to know on that quick screen that the corner sitting in that flat zone, he's got a chance to look at that play. These receivers for the Claymores have been so unselfish in terms of blocking, running their routes, but not on that play.
They were spiked on second down to stop the clock, so they can get a chance to just regroup and rethink.
I'm just not in agreement on a second down. Now you bring up third down. I just think those downs are too precious. I think you get into a spike situation.
Well, especially as the play was stopped anyway.
No, that's. I think that's a strategy they may revisit during the week and decide, well.
Where does this go to? Does this go to the head coach? Does this go to the offensive coordinator, or does it go down to the players?
Well, he's doing what is being asked of him. And this is coming, I think it goes straight to the top in terms of.
Well, either way, it's third down, and Knoll is crushed. Absolutely leveled by Marcus Smith, who's had a couple of big plays today.
You'd like to have that extra down now.
Yeah, now that spike suddenly looms large, doesn't it?
It's a 30-second timeout.
Marcus Smith coming up with the play once again. The guy that had moved from corner to safety because of injuries elsewhere. And they're going to have to think about this, Scotland, because it's fourth down. They need to get inside the 3-yard line. So they need roughly 11 to 12 yards.
And the defense that the Dragons have been in, as we said, the safeties are wide, but then they have the middle linebackers dropping in. So when we've seen Knoll drop back and kind of hesitate, he's waiting for the receivers to clear.
Well, look at this. They're sending, sorry to interrupt you there, they're sending on Rob Hart, the kicking game.
Well, this actually makes sense. Coming in this game, when you figure Rob Hart has not missed a field goal.
Well, on the law of averages, he's got to make one.
He's got to make one. You make it a one-score game here as opposed to facing a fourth down.
He's had a miserable day on this surface. Can he get it right at the fourth attempt? Yes, he can. That was important for the Claymores and for Rob Hart.
The Dragons had to punt on their next possession, so let's pick up the action on the Claymores' following drive.
Well, is overtime looming? Can the Claymores complete the comeback? First down at their own 43. Knoll with a whole lot of space in front of him, and he finds Anthony Bright down to the 37-yard line of Barcelona. Marcus Smith on the stop, 17 yards, first down.
Yeah, here they go back to spike. Now this is getting into
that's what you do have to spike.
This is getting a situation where the time is more precious than the down. So I don't think there's much question on that. I think a nice change up there by offensive coordinator Ken Margin, because as we said, Barcelona in that two deep with the middle linebacker back in the middle. Now they come back here and they come to a trips formation with 3 receivers to the right. Have not shown a lot of that in this game. And then they had the clear out with the 2 inside guys, and then the outside receiver coming in. They had not shown that in the game thus far.
3 wide receivers lined up to the right side. Edel Shepard lined up to the left. Second down. Knoll looks for Shepard. And it's incomplete.
And that is everything you want. Everything you want as a quarterback, as Ken Marjoram. You go to the trips receiver side with 3 to the short side of the field, and you get your best receiver out there in single coverage. That is one where I can guarantee you Craig Nall is going to be absolutely discouraged that he had that football, because he would love in a dry situation to have a corner out, a deep corner out, one-on-one with the entire half of the field. They got everything they wanted, but the conditions didn't lend itself to the completion.
So 3rd down. All with time. And that was almost picked and then almost caught, and it's incomplete. And we are down inside 30 seconds here, and we face 4th down and 10.
Barcelona playing a little tighter on their zone. Eyeballing the quarterback.
Well, first we had the interception, then we had the catch, and then we had nothing.
We've seen a lot of plays where
and we've got a flag.
Barcelona.
A flag has been thrown, and again, I think you're going to find too many Claymores bodies in the huddle. Well, they've found so many ways to make life hard for themselves today, the Claymores.
Play of the game, 4th and 10, there's a lot of options available for you if you're Ken Marjoram looking down your play sheet. 4th and 15, you can cut those at least in half.
12 men in the huddle. Can you believe it at this stage of the ball game?
No, mid-season.
This is it. The game hangs on this one play. They need to get to the 27-yard line. Nall with the drop. Looks, goes over the middle, and it's picked off by Rodriguez. And that'll do it. A flag comes in. Rodriguez continues the return. And the man from the Cincinnati Bengals is stopped at midfield. And it's almost like a cathedral in here. Eerie silence has descended at Hampden.
Well, we saw the New England Patriots defeat the St. Louis Rams in the Super Bowl a couple years back, and employing a scheme with that middle linebacker deep in the middle. We've mentioned that a few times. Tito Rodriguez back there, 2 deep safeties, usually a hole down the middle, but by scheme, Barcelona having that middle linebacker deep opens up a little holes more shallow, but you do get the trade-off where that throw right there is covered by a middle linebacker, and with the game on the line, the scheme paid off.
And the penalty, of course, goes against Scotland. Well, it's all academic. And the Dragons, having lost their first game of the season on a field goal with 5 seconds left, have won 4 in a row, and Craig Nall can do no more. Put everything into this game. Even the mascot is down and out.
You go back to that first quarter attempt that Craig Nall had with the open receiver, did a nice job looking off the defense to his left, distorted the defense with his eyes, came back at an open receiver, launched it a little high. Those are the type of plays. Look at that scoreboard. You need an extra 7 points. Those are the type of plays that make you stare at the ceiling tonight if you're Craig Nall.
Well, 10 out of 10 for effort for the Scottish Claymores, especially in this second half. But it's the Dragons that have done it, and deservedly so. We said there were questions, Hugh, about both these teams. We have some answers today.
And I think that you got to be encouraged with what you saw from Seth Burford. Did make some plays early on in the game when the conditions were more favorable, managed the game well, had a good understanding, and then, of course, the picture of despair there for the quarterback coming into this game, leading the league.
So victory goes to the Dragons. Time now to hear from the protagonists to get their opinions on the game.
The knock against the Dragons' offenses have been, you've been a little bit conservative, but you shared that conservative image of it today.
Yeah, we started off throwing the ball. First drive of the game, we scored. I don't know how many plays, 3 or 4, but came out early and moved the ball well. Slowed down a little bit in the second half. We needed some first downs, but defense did a good job.
Well, you didn't get that Barcelona sunshine. You had the weather typical of Scotland. Talk about the challenge that presented.
It was tough. The weather, the field was soaked. It got real bad the second half. Did a good job, though, just staying with it. Got enough points for our defense to stay on top for us.
Scott, congratulations on the touchdown, but once again, this Claymores offense coming alive a little bit too late in the day.
I don't think we came alive late. I think if you look, we had a 13-play drive and a 14-play drive in the first half. We just hurt ourselves with penalties and couldn't punch it in the red zone. I'd be surprised if we've got less than 400 yards offence today and come up with 10 points. But, you know, all credit to Barcelona. We knew they were a tough defence. We knew they were going to make us work for a yard each, and they did exactly that.
Describe that touchdown for us.
You know, I'm on the backside there, and basically, if you see man coverage, we run a lot of crossing routes from that position. So you just kind of fake as if you're going to run a shallow cross and then dig back out of it. Craig went through his reads and come back to me. So, you know, it was nice to get on the board after my last couple of performances. But hollow kind of personal victory when the team loses.